Myself, Muhammad Afiq of Class 12C, and I am the host of the day. So let's start the meeting. We have with us our Honorable Chief Guest, a German teacher, or I can say a biological teacher, Mr. Jerome Rajan. We heartily welcome you, sir.
Thank you.
So let's start today's session by the remembrance of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by the verses of Holy Quran. So I request Muhammad Faraz of Class 10C to recite Qiraat.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يؤوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم صدق الله العظيم.
MashaAllah, Muhammad Faraz. Let's continue the session by Naat. In the remembrance of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so I call Yasir Anfar of Class 11C to present Naat. So, next I would like to call Muhammad Manziam of Class 12A to deliver welcome address. Manziam.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Good afternoon, everyone. I extend a warm welcome to all at the 11th session of Age Eminent series. I find immense pleasure in welcoming our today's chief guest, Mr. Jerome Rajan, who is an exceptional personality. We should be grateful that he is amongst us today. Mr. Jerome Rajan started his journey of learning from St. Bede's High School. He completed his undergraduate studies from Loyola College, Chennai. He also has a degree in education from University of Madras. He has more than 40 years of experience in teaching. We are thankful to him that he accepted our invitation and took time out of his busy schedule to attend this session. The blessing of such a personality in an online session is surely a boon for all of us. We hope that the students seek a little guidance and imbibe something from his thoughts today. At last, again, I welcome each and every one of you to this session. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Now I would like to call Muhammad Akil Shoaib M of Class 12C to unmute his mic and give introduction about the chief guest.
Mr. Jerome Rajan started education at the S.K. Bede's High School, undergraduate studies in Loyola College, Chennai. Degree in education from the University of Madras. Mr. Jerome has started as a teacher at the Don Bosco Matriculation School, Egmore, Chennai in June 1976. Started by teaching biology in 1978, began teaching German in addition to biology. Qualifications: MSc Botany, MA German and MA. In 2006, Sir took voluntary retirement and taught German exclusively at the Goethe Institute, Max Muller Bhavan, Chennai. Sir was part of a team of authors for the production of textbooks for the Diploma in the Teaching of German for the Indira Gandhi National Open University in 2012 in collaboration with the University of Vienna and the Goethe Institute. Mr. Jerome is interested in traveling. Sir have traveled to Southeast Asia, Europe and North America. Mr. Jerome Rajan had 44 years experience in teaching field. Thank you.
Thanks, Akil. Let me give a brief introduction about the chief guest of honor today. Mr. Jerome Rajan is a great biological German teacher. Mr. Jerome Rajan attended several workshops and seminars in Germany for effective teaching of German. Visited school and education institutions in Germany and the USA in order to study the functions of schools and other education institutions. Sir has served as a member and later chairman for the board for German in the board for higher secondary education for the government of Tamil Nadu. Sir had more than 40 years of experience in teaching field. Now I request our honorable chief guest, Mr. Jerome to say a few words about his journey.
So, good afternoon to all of you. I hope I am clear and loud.
Yes,
because
sir.
In the new normal, we cannot behave as if we were in a regular class. In a regular class at school, we have several possibilities by means of which we know what is being transferred to our pupils. But on online session, there is a new normal and a new way of putting things across. And hence, I try to do things as slowly as possible in order that the pupils get at the bottom of what I have to say. I thank all of you in the first place for having invited me this afternoon to be with you and to discuss a few points with you. As you must have seen, I have as topics for discussion 3 main issues that I have mentioned. Number 1 is media consumption. Number 2 is the relevance as a professional, and thirdly, poverty alleviation. Who is responsible? To begin with, I would like to tell you that today's session is not going to be a one-way session. I expect all of you to participate. When I make questions and I provide you with questions, I would like you to start with answers in such a way that we have an interactive session and not a monologue, not a talk, continuous talk done by me. To start with, we will talk about media consumption. I would like to get your responses on what you understand by the term media. Could I have answers, please?
Boys, please type on the chat box, or you can reply what media is. Unmute your mic and you can ask. Yeah, Afif, you can reply what is media.
Not getting any responses. Media is a source of knowing what is happening in the world. Yes? Anyone else? Means of mass communication. Muhammad Mas says that. means of mass communication.
Nowadays, media is everything.
Media is everything. It's good. Just to put.
Nowadays, we are
Yeah.
dependent on the media day to day life. We are dependent on the media.
Oh, okay.
While it comes forward, you have to give your answers. Sorry, it's waiting for you.
We gain news from various countries. It is a tool to communicate. Yes. Since we have 3 topics to discuss, I shall start with a little bit of explanation on what the term media consumption is supposed to mean. I have got your responses and I would like to just place things in proper perspective. A medium, the term medium itself, refers to a vehicle to transport a message. A vehicle to transport a message or a means of transporting a message. When you talk about what means are available, if you talk of the evolution of media, I see here, it mentions here, it is a tool to communicate. Yeah, it's a tool to communicate. It's a method to pass on whatever message you want to transfer to another person or a group of persons. So it's a vehicle to transport a message. How did the medium or the media evolve? We started with prehistoric times, and you know, the beating of drums. The beating of drums. Originally, man made noises, beating drums, in order to indicate either joy or sadness. That way, he or she communicated to the other person joy or sadness, beating drums, playing music, various sounds. And slowly this continued to production of pictures, drawings. With these drawings, people were able to communicate, yes, this person is running, this person is walking, this person is singing, this person is dancing, whatever, through pictures. And that was the origin of what we call the Egyptian style of writing. Egyptian style of writing in pictures. You call it hieroglyphics. Okay? So that was prehistoric times, or times which we were not so much confronted with. But in course of time, what happened? The Chinese started with paper. The Egyptians continued with papyrus. And then they started writing material. They produced writing materials. These writing materials helped people to communicate from one person to another. What has happened in the past century, 20th and 21st century, to which I fortunately belong, the 20th as well as the 21st century. The 20th century, we learned about the means to communicate, that is the radio. The radio moved on to the transistor, which could be carried from place to place. Solid state equipment carried from place to place. And then after that, we had the printing press. Printing press developed in Germany by Gutenberg. These two, one, the radio, and the other, the printing press, revolutionized communication. So what we understand as media can be divided into two broad groups. What are the two broad groups? One is the print medium, the newspaper, the book, the magazines, the flyers which are distributed for the purpose of transmitting messages about whatever, weddings or invitations or sale, this sale, that sale, etc. And the second group of media, namely the electronic media. The electronic media consisting of the radio, the television, the personal computer, the laptop, mobile phone, and now the smartphone. Yeah. So media are all over in either form, in the form of printed material or in the form of electronic material. They enter into our drawing rooms even though we don't ask for it. They walk into our bedrooms even when we don't know about it. So this is the all-pervasive media revolution. My question today is media consumption. How do we absorb media? How do we absorb media? What are the positives of media which we can develop on, and what are the negatives of media? Could I have your responses, please? What is good about the medium and what is not good? We will start primarily by talking about good, because we always believe that we go forward by looking at good things and not at bad things. But at any rate, we must know what is good and what is bad, and we must avoid what is bad and enhance whatever is good. So that's why we'll start with the good aspects of media. But I want to have your responses about what is good. May, yeah? Modern technology, yes. Hello? I have only one response. What is good about media? Easy and reliable. So hey. Easy and reliable. Good because we learn about the world. Awareness about the world. Yes? what is happening around the world in seconds. Yes. To me, the world has become a small place to live, of course. Fastest way to spread anything creates awareness. You get things now quickly. Giving an idea. Yes, strong, of course. Media is very fast, yes. So to summarize all that you have sent me on chat, I would like to put these points forward and add a few additional. First is, the information is very quickly spread. Yeah, here, media is very fast. Information is spread very, very quickly. There is possibility of information on cyclones, earthquakes, tsunamis, and other natural disasters. The information comes to us so soon that we are able to take preventive measures. The second is, media is useful for handling emergencies, medical emergencies. You have a problem, you take your phone and you call the doctor, and the doctor is there in 5 minutes. Media helps positively. Third is, when you are outside the country or when you are outside your hometown, you can keep in touch with family, friends who live in other cities or other countries just by lifting the phone. It also provides meaningful information on events. Meaningful information. Like, for instance, if you are celebrating a festival, meaningful information is provided by the media. It helps in dissemination or spread of important scientific truths. Magazines like Scientific American or the British Journal of Medicine tell you about the latest. Even our newspapers, the Hindu, every Sunday has a column which tells you about the latest developments in science and technology. Not necessarily in biology alone, but also in engineering and other spheres of scientific activity. Above all, we have search engines like Google or Bing or whatever. They give you up-to-date information on almost anything in the world. You ask them how the weather is in Timbuktu and you get the answer in 2 seconds. So it gives you information. The media gives you a lot of information, positive information. It provides assistance also today for job search, house search, food, clothing, etc., etc. These are the positives. These are the things that we have to look into or promote. What are the negative aspects of media? Can you just put down a list of negative aspects of media? Yes? rumors being spread, of course, yes. News you come to know that is not 100% true, of course, false and fake news, yeah. 100%, yeah. I agree. Any more responses? Can create riots, of course. Unconfirmed news. Yes? Any more? Good. Good can be made bad, of course. Black can be made white and white can be made black. Exactly. I understand, yeah, but for lack of time, I'm trying to push things a little fast because I've taken on me the three aspects which I think are very useful. One of the things is that there is too much information. Too much information. There is an information explosion. Because of this information explosion, one has to separate the good from the bad. One has to go through all this information, digest it, and then find out what is right and what is not right. This information explosion is one of the aspects of the 21st century. There's just too much news. Just too much news. The second is that the most important thing for all media houses is sensationalism. Sensationalism. Everybody wants to be the first to report something sensational that happened. Nobody is bothered about the normal lives of good human beings, unfortunately. Everybody is concentrating on where some murder took place, or where some robbery took place, or where some unhappy event took place. People are worried about sensationalizing every small little aspect of life. In order that the news sells. Selling of news become very, very important today. Thirdly, the information is presented from the point of view of the presenter. Point of view of the presenter is more important. Like, for instance, we have a film, a movie, whichever language. It is based on a true story. Based on a true story. Now, when you say it is based on a true story, you have to take it with a pinch of salt because the director has added certain aspects to the movie in order to make it saleable. Yeah, it may not in any way refer to the individual or to the happening that has taken place, but on the other hand, it will be constructed according to what the director wants to present. So a bad man, like he said here just now, a bad man may be shown as a martyr and a good man may be shown as a burglar or a thief or whatever. So there can be good which is made bad and bad which is made good, thanks to the inventive capacity of the human mind, where the director deals with a particular situation in a particular manner, and what impresses us when we watch the film is only one or the other aspect. Okay? So we have to think of what disadvantage this is to us. Hence, information is constructed reality. It's constructed reality. When we talk about consumption, what do we mean by consumption? When we say consumption, we take in. We take in and we digest, or we eat, or we feed on media. That is what is happening today. And that is the new normal. We cannot function without these electronic gadgets. We have come to a stage where we are dependent on electronics. So we have to consume. And when we consume media, I just want to place an idea of mine with you all. What do we need? What do we need? As students, preparing for a future life, what do we need? We don't need Amitabh Bachchan, we don't need Shah Rukh Khan, we don't need whatever actor, actress. We are interested in improving our knowledge. That is our primary need. We have to consider our needs and accordingly consume media. If we are interested in improving ourselves, then we want to become engineers, doctors, lawyers, whatever. Use that part of the media that helps you to achieve this particular goal. Not simply get into the media and pick up all the possible information and not know what to do with it. So we have to first identify our needs. We want many things. We want a big, huge palatial house. We want a big, huge car. And once we have the big car, we want a bigger car. Once we have a bigger car, we want the biggest car. And once we have the biggest car, we have to show it off to the neighborhood. We can want many things. But ultimately, what is our need? Our need is to travel from point A to point B, and that without soiling our clothes, and therefore we need a covered vehicle. And so we choose a car. We choose a car which is within the goals, within the necessities, within the abilities that we have. So not considering the outside world. So our consumption, use of media should be based on what we need and not what we want. Secondly, when we believe all the outputs of the media houses, then it leads to confusion in our minds. We have to use only trusted sources for information. Trusted sources. Now, I am not able to tell you anything about which source is trusted and which source is not trusted. I suppose you, as individuals, will have to come up with your own ideas as which of the media can be trusted and which of the media cannot be trusted, depending on your needs. Not depending on your wants. Yeah, I want to be this and that, and whatever else. But depending on your wants, depending on your needs, you have to choose the sources of information. Which is the best source of information that you have as students? Any answers? Which is the best source of information? Best source of information is media, education, which is the best source? From whom can we get the best and most trusted information in whatever aspect of life that we live? The first and primary source, of course, Arise and Shine has hit the nail on the head. Parents. Parents are the best source of information. They tell us what, and then Minnie says, teachers, yes, of course. Starting with parents, please consider your parents as the best source of information. And the second level are your teachers. 100% true, 100% true. If you rely on parents and teachers for information, they will lead you to the sources of information which are precise. They will not allow you to wander around here and there without any knowledge. Trust your parents, trust your teachers. They are the ones who can give you the best and most correct information. And I'm sure your parents, in case they don't have answers, will definitely refer to their own mentors or to their own teachers themselves in order to get the right information. Or to elders, not necessarily parents may have other elders like uncles, aunts, grandfathers, grandmothers who will be able to provide you with information. So the first and second levels, parents, teachers. Parents these days are quite concerned about economic processing and running around here and there. And so, most often we have to rely, pupils will have to rely on teachers because they spend a whole lot of time on school. So please think of these aspects. I told you very clearly, media has got positive aspects, and media has got negative aspects. Avoid the negative aspects by going to your teachers and finding out what is best for you. That is about media consumption. And I think today it is a very, very important point because we have televisions in every room in our houses these days, and we have the cell phone which is ubiquitous, found everywhere, and which consume a lot of our valuable time. So please, my dear pupils, make sure that you get the information from the right sources. Do not allow media to mislead you. Okay? So any other questions? Thank you, Abdul, for adding me as one of the inspirers. Thank you. So are there any other questions that you would like to ask me on this, in this regard? If not, I will go on to the next aspect, namely being relevant as a professional. Relevance as a professional. I shall just put this very quickly. I shall not do a lot of discussion on this, though of course there is a lot of discussion that can be done in this regard, but then I think we'll be overshooting our time and we have to wind up. How soon do we have to wind up?
Actually, today it looks like we have a low participation, sir. Anyway, we'll be doing the recording. So
Yes.
the boys, all the boys from the WhatsApp group can see it again. So we will wind up by 5:55.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Right. So, as a professional, we have different kinds of professionals. I'm a teacher, and that is my profession. Yeah. Abdul Rahman is a businessman, and that is his profession. There are doctors, there are lawyers, etc. And in our professions, we have to update ourselves constantly. We have to change constantly. Like Einstein said, Albert Einstein, the great physicist who spoke about relativity, he said, change is the only constant in this world. The world is dynamic and we have to continuously change. Teachers, like us, we have to change our methods of teaching. We have to understand that it is totally necessary to use the electronic media for teaching. In those days, students were prohibited from bringing a cell phone to school. But now, you have the school on the cell phone. Life has changed. It has become a necessity to use these electronic media profitably inside the classes. In those days, there used to be the 5 rupee doctor. He just felt your pulse and then gave you a set of tablets or a mixture and then sent you home. And the next day you were well. But today, the doctors make use of several kinds of diagnostic tools like the CT scan, the MRI, the ultrasound, etc., 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 lab tests and so on. So this did not happen in those days. So the doctor of today has to be relevant. And if he or she has to be relevant, he or she has to keep with the times. So also students. If the students have to be relevant, they also have to keep with the times. And what is it? We have no more the slate and pencil, which we used in those days. We have notebooks, the regular notebooks with paper. But that is already obsolete. Now we have the electronic media, and you are provided with a very, very strong and powerful weapon. I spoke to you about media, and this electronic medium can either boost you positively if you use it well, or it can bring you to destruction if you abuse it. So that is why I spoke in the first part about media and in the second part about relevance of our lives as pupils, as young people, as students, as children of good parents. These are the things that one has to guard against. We have to be relevant, and this relevance is very important, and we have to make use of the materials that are given to us in a proper way so that we will not go astray, but on the other hand, we will do something constructive to society. The third aspect that I spoke about was poverty alleviation. Who is responsible? Poverty alleviation and poverty alleviation and poverty or distress. Yeah, distress. We have a lot of problems in life. There's nobody in this world who is free from problems. Everybody has problems. And we have to think of helping those with problems. Okay? Our belief in God tells us that we are given a responsibility thanks to the financial stability that we have to share with our brethren. That is true. We have to share with our brethren in order to care for those who are in poverty or who are in distress. That is a part of our religious belief, to share with one another. Today everybody is talking about things in a negative way. Pessimistic thinking. The world is gone. There's no more life in the world. All people have become useless. Everybody is thinking of his own gain. Let us look at this aspect very positively. When we look at it positively, I am reminded of two gentlemen. One is Mr. Kalyana Sundaram, who was a librarian in a particular institution. He spent approximately 23 crores of rupees in order that he could help people in need. He did not take any salary for his own living. He just went and worked as a waiter in a restaurant and was able to have 2 meals a day and get some money for his house. He did not get married just because he wanted to be of assistance to people. The second person whom I can speak of is a person called Narayanan Krishnan, who runs the Akshaya Trust in Madurai. Narayanan Krishnan was a chef. He was about to go to Europe on work, and before that he visited his parents in Madurai, at which point he saw a poor man on the streets, unable to eat anything else but the rubbish that was on the streets. So he started this Akshaya Trust. He didn't start as Akshaya Trust anyway. He started by looking for people who needed food, and he provided them food every day. And for the past 23 years, without earning any money on his own, he spends his time looking for people to help on the streets, and he supplies them with meals every day, every single day. These people who are uncared for, who are on the streets, these are the people who are being helped by this particular gentleman by the name of Narayanan Krishnan. I have just placed these two persons for your consideration. Once we talk about poverty alleviation and distress alleviation, what are we talking about? The government is not doing, this is not doing, that is not doing. what are we doing? Are we doing something to help those poor people whom we can help? This is my question to all of you. And with this, I conclude whatever I have had to say. If you find it positive and if you can make use of it, I should be most happy. Thank you very much for your patient listening and for your interaction. And I thank the organizers for having invited me, particularly Abdul Rahman. And I hope that all of you will have a bright future, and we hope to meet each other sometime again. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It was our immense pleasure to listen to your valuable words. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Now I request Muhammad Zakir K. Zaid K. of class 10th A to deliver vote of thanks. Muhammad Zaid.
Assalamu alaikum and good evening to all. As all good things come to an end, I take this opportunity to propose vote of thanks to those who have directly and indirectly contributed to this seminar. At the outset, I thank our chief guest and resource person. We are really enlightened with your knowledge and presence. I would like to thank our principal for his enthusiastic support. A special thanks to the organization committee for their unflinching support and coordination. Our heartfelt thanks to our students for active participation. With these warm words and a kind message, we have moved to the end of today's seminar. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Thanks, Zaid.
Yes, Afif, you can end the session with the dua, inshallah.
If invite to Sajidullah Hazrat.
So, now I request Mr. Sajidullah Hazrat to do dua in this session.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما اللهم إنا نسألك علما نافعا ورزقا واسعا وحلالا طيبا وشفاء من كل داء وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه محمد وآله وأصحابه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Jazakallah, Jerome sir, for coming in. Inshallah, we will have again with a continuation of the session. Jazakallah khair. Allah Hafiz. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Same to you.
Thank you, sir.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.